So, based on my own complete trust and unfortunately completely misguided and misplaced trust in the man that I called my spiritual teacher, or I thought of as my spiritual teacher, I likewise promised virtually everyone I knew, everyone who was willing to invest in and support this project, that they could trust the project themselves. And I said that it wasn't just that they were trusting me, although most of them knew me and most of them did trust me, that we were trusting in something deeper. We were trusting in this mysterious greater power that carries us along in life. And again, this was a terrible, terrible mistake. And years later, when I woke up to realize what I had done, I just could not believe that I had fallen for it. But I did. And again, part of why I did was that this was a carefully laid out, laid in kind of conditioning to trust this process. Lou always said, trust the process, by which he meant trust him. And I had enough experience of the benefits of it that I did come to trust it. And I made the very foolish and very dangerous and very harmful mistake of thinking that I could simply move from trusting this in my own life to bringing other people in to the process and putting them in a position where they were trusting it as well. The problem was that I was not telling them about Lou, because Lou told me explicitly not to tell anyone about his role. So I didn't. And that was the crime. You cannot ask people for money and lie to them about the circumstances and the realities of what they're investing in. So anyway, another thing that I've learned about, or kind of uncovered about how could this happen, is that the best lies, or maybe better said, the most dangerous lies, are the lies that have enough truth in them to obscure the lie. And that was very much the case with this project. As I talk to people in raising money, as I talk to people about Birth of Innocence, I communicated, sometimes clumsily, sometimes more articulately, that this was going to be a film about the deeper truth of what we are, that kind of mysterious, deeper aspect that we all kind of know is inside us, but we don't really know how to bring forth or to express fully in our lives. And I started out and I was very awkward about how I explained this to people. But to my surprise, I found that people understood, and that people, however clumsily I described it, people knew that there was something more powerful within them than the personality or the aspects of themselves that they showed to the world, their image or whatever. I had many, many very deep and lovely conversations with investors about things they had never told anyone. I had an elderly gentleman who was an investor whose wife had died recently, and he confided in me that, because he knew that I would understand, he confided in me that recently he had, while driving, he had experienced his wife who had passed on, in the car with him, and had a very intimate communication with her. And he told me, you can't tell anyone this, but it was very real to him. And I had another woman, a farm woman who I gave a presentation about Birth of Innocence at a Grange Hall meeting, and she came up after me and said, kind of pulled me aside and said rather secretively, you know, what you said about God is what I've believed all my life, that God is within us all. It's not some separate entity. And I never knew that anyone else believed that too. And thank you so much. I can't tell you how happy you've made this old lady, and I want to invest in your film. So I learned that lies can be hidden underneath real truths. Lies can be disguised by real truth. And that's what happened here. And those lies, I believed that there was enough truth, enough sincerity in this that it would all work out in the end. And what happened in the end, of course, is it all blew up in my face, in all of our faces. And I wound up going to prison. So much for thinking that you can lie in the name of truth. More soon. Thank you so much for listening.